Imagine shopping at the grocery store and in walks the Queen of England. It could have happened to you in 1957. That fall, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip came to the United States to take part in the 350th anniversary celebration of Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in North America. It was Elizabeth's first trip to the U.S. since becoming queen, and her itinerary included lots of things you might expect. A ticker tape parade in New York City, a visit to the White House in Washington, and plenty of pomp and circumstance. But beyond these spectacles, Elizabeth seemed intent on connecting with regular Americans. As the Evening Star noted, Queen Elizabeth, getting folksier and folksier as her American tour progresses. But beneath the goodwill visit, there was a real need for diplomacy. Just a year earlier, tensions between the US and Britain had spiked during the Suez Crisis, when Britain, France, and Israel had invaded Egypt. The US condemned the action, and its longtime allies were forced to withdraw. At the same time, the Cold War between the West and the Soviet Union was escalating, and British-American relations needed to be strong to combat communism. And so, on Saturday, October 19th, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip did what millions of Americans were doing. They went to a college football game.
College Park, Maryland is in a festive mood, for a queen's likeness decorates a football program, and a queen in person makes a triumphal entry into a football stadium. A sellout crowd of 43,000 cheers Queen Elizabeth and her consort Prince Philip, very special guests of the University of Maryland.
Dubbed the Queen's Game, plans had been in the works for months, and Maryland officials rolled out the red carpet. State dignitaries showered Queen Elizabeth and Philip with gifts, and team captains from Maryland and North Carolina presented a ceremonial coin. At halftime, the school's marching bands honored Her Majesty with a special performance. All the while, Elizabeth and Philip attempted to make sense of the unfamiliar slice of Americana playing out before them. But their crash course on everyday life in the U.S. was just beginning. After the game, the Queen wanted to visit a supermarket. So the royal motorcade made a surprise stop at the giant food store in West Hyattsville. As stunned shoppers gawked, assistant manager Donald Davanzo took the royals on a tour of the store. While Philip munched on samples of cheese and crackers, Elizabeth made small talk with shoppers and took a particular interest in the selection of frozen chicken pot pies. After about 20 minutes, they piled back into their limousine and were whisked off to the White House. Meanwhile, shoppers and Giant staff tried to fathom what had just happened. "I'll never forget it," Davanzo told reporters. "It was the greatest thing that ever happened to me." So did a Maryland football game and grocery run actually impact international relations? Probably not. That was for the politicians and diplomats to figure out. But one thing is clear. In the Washington area, you just never know who you'll run into at the supermarket. For more unexpected stories from DC area history, check out our Boundary Stones playlist and subscribe to WETA PBS on YouTube.